What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Big Cat here. Welcome back to 1995, The Roar. Channel by a fan, for the fan, restoring the roar. Today, we're going to talk about Carolina Panthers Day 2 of the 2025 training camp. The good, the bad, the ugly, what you guys should expect, and rapid reactions here, man. I'm joined by one of my guys and future co-host, Brother Elaine. What's good, man?
How you doing, sir?
Doing all right, man. You ready to talk a little football, dog?
Let's do it.
We're going to go ahead and go to the screen, share real quick. Uh, don't be worried about like if you don't necessarily are not up to speed. We're gonna kind of just look at what the columns and the vlogs are saying
Mhm,
right off top, and then we'll just kind of give our reactions to that,
mhm.
and then we'll open up the floor for a few minutes, and then we'll get out of here. Okay.
Let's do it.
All right, let's get to it. All right, so this is four Panthers takeaway from day 2 of the Panthers training camp, and this is according to SportsIllustrated.com, and we'll just kind of go over a few points, give our feedback, and let you guys know how I feel. Be sure to follow me on social media, 1995 The Roar, 1995 The Roar podcast, and also on X. We're doing good on TikTok as well. So be sure to check over there. Today's first initial takeaway is the ups and downs of Bryce Young. According to Sports Illustrated here, they said Bryce Young had an uneven day for the Panthers. On one play, he threw a brilliant thread the needle touchdown to David Moore. It might have been the most overlooked weapon last year in Carolina, but he had some rapport with Bryce Young as well. But later on, he was looking for T Mac, but got intercepted by linebacker Pat Jones. Being intercepted by a defensive lineman is usually not a good sign. So let's stop it right there. I believe he was a linebacker, but they made a typo here.
Mhm.
Bryce Young, if you don't know, back to back days interception here. Let's just jump into it, man. How's your rapid reaction? Is this much to do about nothing, or how are we feeling about this?
It's a stark difference from what we normally hear the first 2 years of Bryce Young. Generally, we hear about, especially at this early stage, no pads or anything like that, how he's tearing it up, right? We generally hear about all we really don't hear about the bad days until they get the pads on and things get serious. And this is supposed to be the time when people get hyped. So it's very interesting to hear that he's throwing interceptions now. You know what? I hope that I hope no now that he has this top 10 receiver, he won't do the thing that Cam did where he feels the need to force it to the guy. You know what I mean? That's something we got to keep an eye out for.
Absolutely agree here, man. I'm nervous, E.
Hmm.
I'm real nervous. A lot of people, and you guys in the channel in the chat, you guys give me such a hard time because I refuse to bow down to Bryce, or at least the thought of him being this revamped quarterback. I just don't believe it, and I don't want to make too much of a stinker about it. I know it's training camp. I know it's day 2. I know they don't have any pads on. I know all of that stuff. I know they new weapons, all of that stuff. But you know, a lot of this stuff is just from Bryce, just not necessarily seeing the receiver through, seeing the field, right? I mean, it's not necessarily anything you're doing new, right?
Hmm.
So if you're not able to see the field for the first 6 games like you did where you had six, excuse me, the first 4 games last year where you had 6 interceptions, why are you not seeing it in practice? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I know Evero's a good D coordinator, but no disrespect to guys like Pat Jones and the free safety we brought in. I mean, what is it, Damian? What was it, Damian? I forget his last name here. He picked them off yesterday.
Hmm.
Those guys are all right, but you should be able to see this, and you should be able to have the talent, arm talent, to be able to put it in there. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I'm not buying it. Even with the new weapons here. Okay,
Hmm.
so I just, is there anything that they can do to kind of, protect him or speed him up? I mean, what more can they do, man, at this point?
I mean, you did a brilliant episode a couple of weeks back where you just talked about how this team is going to really lean on the run. The NFL game it's a game of adjustments, right? People saw and talk depending on who you're talking to, how well he did last year and for how long he did last year. Did well last year, will vary from person to person, but he improved towards the second half of last year, right? And what we also have to realize is that teams will adjust. Teams will see what the Panthers are doing and they will adjust. So when we see Bryce come out there early this year, you'll see teams looking at that film from the second half and adjusting to that. So it'll be up to Bryce This is where you really see where if a quarterback's good or not. When they find something that works for them and teams adjust, can he find a way to keep winning that chess match? Right. And that's what we're going to be looking for with Bryce moving forward, man. I'm nervous too, as well. I'm not as impressed as most Panther fans were with the second half of his performance last year. Yeah, it was night and day compared to where he was, but this is cause for concern. This is the time of the year where Bryce Young should be lighting it up.
And pardon me for not introducing you properly. If you guys are enjoying the eclectic sound and brilliant mind of my co-host here, do you mind telling them where they can find more of you at?
Yeah, guys, you can guys find me at Panther Theory. I am live. I don't go live as much, but I'm definitely live every single Friday with a couple of co-hosts. And as the season ramps up a little bit, we'll be doing a lot more Panther content. That's Panther Theory.
Shout out to Panther Theory. And we're going to wrap up this first point right here. I want to go back to something I made on a comment I made on a few videos ago. I said this young receiving core is going to struggle.
Mhm.
And I said Bryce is going to go back to the guys he's familiar with. I said the Hunter Renfro, the old savvy veteran. You got Adam Thielen, a guy who's been in the clutch in the past, and now you see it in practice where David Moore essentially. I don't know what he's still doing on the roster, but he trusts him enough to secure the catch. So I think this is going to be a theme going forward when the regular season kicks off, right?
Mhm.
Because you got younger weapons, younger talent, but if they're not getting separation or getting locked up here, I mean, you're gonna go back to the well that you know. What do you think about that synopsis?
Yeah, and David Moore, he had some special teams value, so I can get that, right. It's teams don't realize people don't realize how important that is until you have a guy back there that you don't trust to fill a punt, right? So I get that. Um, I- you know, I'm actually worried about the opposite. To tell you the truth, as I alluded to earlier, sometimes when you get this shiny new toy, you start to get the illusion that you should just be trying to feed the guy, right? And I'm so worried about him kind of locking in on Tech and really trying to force the situation over there. I think today you mentioned that one of the interceptions was going to him, or was that yesterday?
That was yesterday.
Yesterday. Yeah, it could go either way. I do see what you mean, but it could go either way. He could lock into that number one guy and, really try to force a situation, or, he can go back to what he's used to. If you recall, in 2014, when we had drafted Calvin Benjamin, Cam Newton really tried to force the issue with Calvin Benjamin. And it wasn't actually until he was gone that the team got better because he learned to spread the ball around more so than just trying to force it into a guy because he's just number one.
Yeah, that's true. Real quick before we move on to our next topic here, panic or patience with Bryce Young going forward.
Yeah, I'm hitting the panic button. I'll be honest with you. Um, I understand that people like to say, Bryce Young had 10 touchdowns in the last two games or something like that.
10
Total
touchdowns over the
touchdowns.
last 3 games. Three
Three
games?
games. My apologies. 3 games, and five came in one game, which is a monster game, and we can celebrate that for what it is—a really amazing game, right? But the rest of the season, the rest of the part of that was, I mean, by NFL standards, kind of average, right? I'm hitting the panic button because why are you struggling in pads? And it's not like this defense has any like bona fide Pro Bowl talent all over it. We really didn't upgrade uh that much, right? We stabilized in a couple of spots, but pass rush is still a problem. I'm doubting he's seeing any kind of major pressure in these practices. Receivers has gotten significantly better. We're thin at linebacker. We're thin in the secondary, and yet he's finding a way to have rough days. So I'm hitting the panic button.
Likewise, brother. I'm 5 alarm, man.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next topic here when it comes to Sports Illustrated here. Carolina Panthers takeaway for day 2 of training camp. The center position is up for grabs. According to ESPN David Newton, they're saying there's a legit competition between Austin Corbett and also Kate Mays. Today, it looks like Austin Corbett was taking snaps with Andy Dalton, and Kate May was with Bryce Young. So This might seem like Mays has the leg up, but it also seems like it's a wide open competition. Any thoughts on the two, and what are the significant difference?
Yeah, I'm not really sure why there's a competition because Corbett came from guard to center last year, and I know people were questioning that, but he played pretty well. I mean, he led a top, what were we, top 10 rushing team
Top 10.
last year.
Yes,
Got
sir.
Chuba, yeah, a top 10 offensive line. And Cabe Mays, I mean, I'm not really sure, what he's actually proven. He's been kind of in and out of the lineup a little bit, though he's played quite well. I don't understand the need to force the issue here at center a little bit. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right?
And
It's my thing.
I concur here. If anybody was going to be a competition for Austin Corbett, it would be Brady Christensen because I think in college he played a little bit
Center.
of center as well. So uh, I don't understand the reasoning behind this. From far as I know, K Mays has been a career backup here
Mhm.
at guard, so the fact that they're trying to move him to center, or he's at center, trying to have an open competition here, that lets me know they either don't trust Austin Corbett's knee or maybe they feel like he's just outright, better than him. I just find that hard to believe, though.
Correct. And I know Corbett has struggled with injuries, but I mean he's healthy now. He was healthy for most of last year, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know. It's very puzzling to me that they are manufacturing this competition.
Manufacturer is a strong word, but I
Yeah.
would say it's a necessary word here. Do you trust Corbett's knees to hold up? I mean, because that's the only thing I'm thinking about because I don't see a real need for this, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was a question going into last year, but he performed pretty well. I mean, it just wasn't my focus. I'm very surprised to be reading that.
Yes.
But and nor was I ever on the impression that Cade Mays was ever going to be a legitimate starter. But hey, maybe he'll surprise us. Maybe the coaches are seeing things we don't see. But the center battle was not on my radar.
Well, let's hope for it, man. And then they know more than us. That's why they get paid the big bucks, right?
Correct.
Let's move on to the next takeaway by SI here. They say J.C. Horn shuts down the rookie. J.C. Horn was matched up against the guy who believed that Bryce Young will force feed, which is a T-Mac who's potentially
Mm.
the Panthers' best wide receiver. But Horn locked him down, according to Mike Kay, reporter for the team. Bryce Young ended up overthrowing him just to avoid the interceptions. Thoughts on J.C. Horn and thoughts on the growth and development of T-Mac?
Well, T Mac, whatever he's going to be in the NFL, he isn't definitely ready to go against J.C. Horn, whether bust or elite wide receiver. His first training camp, second day is not going to be the day that he, dominates one of the best corners in the league when healthy. Um, I say, with that said, I think T Mac does have a few things he has to work on in this game. I mean, he's not like an elite route runner. He's definitely dangerous after the catch, definitely dangerous down the field, knows how to position his body, get to those 50-50 balls. But you're dealing with an elite corner. I say, this news is kind of no news. You know what I mean? The rookie versus one of the top corners, it's supposed to happen.
Be sure to check out my man Panther Theory on YouTube. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. Very brilliant mind. But sit back. I'm going to take him to school here. This is much to do about a lot of something here. He said it's not much about to do about nothing, but JC Horn and T Mac. I mean, this guy is your potential perennial future all pro wide receiver here. And with the likes of Malik Neighbors coming out last year, and you also have Brian Thomas Jr., who dominated the scene, you kind of have a little high expectations for T Mac. At least I do because of that previous class and what they did. Um, so you kind of want to see what the benchmark is with JC Horn. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I would say that when you look at J.C. Horn, he basically finished top 10 in almost every important metrics for corners. I mean, he shut down the best of them, right?
Yes.
The most elite corner receivers in the league, he was able to neutralize them last year. So, I mean, you can't really expect much from a rookie coming in this first training camp. And as I alluded to when we first started this, whatever Tech is going to be, whether he's going to be a bust or he's going to be a Hall of Famer, his second day in training camp going against one of the best corners in the league, you can't really expect much.
That's a fair. That's fair right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you're right. You know what? Now that I sit back and kind of reassess it, I guess it's a fun headline. But
Yeah.
I would like to see at least little fire. I haven't heard anything about him being a fiery guy. From what I do know about the gentleman, he is a guy who can make plays and he will secure. He has over 60% contested catch rate coming out of college, right? So this guy will go
Yes.
up there and go for it. But personality wise, I would like to see me personally. I would like to see fire out of him, right? From what I've seen, he's happy-go-lucky, smiling. He kind of gives me urban-y, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
No disrespect. He kind of gives me like an urban kind of vibe there,
Mhm.
but which has much to do about nothing. But I'm just saying, I like to see that kind of just from the rookie come in there, all business grinding. I'm not scared if you're a 10-time pro or a nobody. You know what I mean? Kind of that situation.
Yeah, there's been a long history in sports of people being able to play against, some of the best of all times or elite players and not necessarily getting the best of them in the practice situation, but becoming better because of that experience of being able to spar against those people every day, right? I think of things when we're talking about the Panthers, I think about Julius Peppers and Jordan Gross coming in round around the same time, right? That undoubtedly benefited both of those guys, right? I even call if you think about boxing, I think the guy who used to spar with Muhammad Ali end up winning a championship, right? He didn't. I'm pretty sure he never won in a sparring match in practice, but just being able to have that experience with an elite player, when he hits the field on week one, most of the competition is not going to be to J.C. Horn's level.
That's a good point. That's right. I would say still sharp and still, iron sharp and iron, I believe.
Yes, sir.
It's a good point. Let's move on to our next bulletin right here, according to Sports Illustrated. The growth and development of Prince Umanmielen. If you guys haven't heard about this kid, he's been making headlines for the right and the wrong reasons, but we're going to talk about it, man. This kid is a monster waiting to happen. I know E said earlier that he don't believe this pass rush had upgraded, but if you've been paying attention, this guy's the truth. On yesterday, Prince Umanmielen did a nice pass rush move and ended up hitting Bryce Young in a no contact practice. Um, it looked like he had been a really good pass move to beat Iquanu, but at the end of the play, he ended up nicking Bryce Young. But head coach Dave Canales said he went back and looked at the film, and after looking at the film, he tried to avoid the guy as best as he could, but it was truly an accident. He didn't overzealously run into Bryce Young, so that's I guess that's a good thing here. What do you think about Prince Umanmielen, who also had a good day today as well? He beat Iquim Ekanu again for another would-be sack. And mind you, Iquim Ekanu is going into a contract year, and a rookie is coming in here really polishing him off 2 days in a row.
Yeah, I mean, if any tackle you would do it to, you would do it to Ikemi Kwanu, who often struggles in the pass block set, right? He's a dominant run blocker. But, if you go look at his PFF grades, he has extreme highs and extreme lows when it comes to passing blocking. I don't really expect much from young pass rushers. It's really interesting to see that, he was able to get the best of Iquanu. I think there's some talent there, but time will tell. I'm still reserved on whether or not he'll make an impact on the field on Sundays when the action is live. But it just shows there's some talent there.
Absolutely here. Now, Akeem McConnell did praise Nick Scorton. He also praised you manly about saying that those guys have some AKA juice coming off of them, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I implore you, if you get a chance, man, just kind of take a survey of the landscape, man. I'm telling you, man, this
Well,
defense has a buzz about them. I mean, the first 2 days of camp, Horn has been pesky. These linebackers, Pat Jones, you have Damian, I believe, I don't want to mispronounce his last name, but Damian, the free safety, making plays. You got Scorton and you got Umanly. I don't know what it is. I could be exaggerating. I could be blowing this out of proportion, but I'm getting a vibe that this defense is going to be stingy. Now, again, it's second day of practice. I don't want to overly hype, but I'm excited. I'm excited for this defense, brother.
yeah, I'm a little underwhelmed. Probably the worst linebacking group in the Panthers history, franchise history. Um, we did do a really good job at like maybe addressing the defensive line, but then Bobby Brown is injured. I don't really have the update on that injury, but just really not great in the linebacking core. already dealing with dealt with injuries, got rid of a guy. The secondary could really have used some extra pieces to it, and I felt like we really didn't address that, at least to my liking. I don't know. I think the defense will continue to be a weak point of the team, and the team has really, I felt like being in the top 10 of the draft, the team really just leaned towards the offense when they should have maybe helped the defense out in that top 10.
Yeah, I agree with you as well, man. I think this defense, especially in the cornerback room, could have been an upgrade. But I mean, it's encouraging to see it. I'm not saying that it's going to be sustained or, again, it's shells, right?
Mhm.
So everybody moves fast when they're in shorts and helmet, right?
Yeah,
But I think to me, like, matter of fact, you're in Charlotte, right?
I am.
Do you know what the reading and the temperature is?
We're definitely in the 90s. I saw, I think I was almost quick to 100 at one point yesterday.
Mm. And to me, that's encouraging, right? It's almost close to 100, and this defense is buzzing. I mean, they had every reason to come out here sluggish, and I don't know if you've been paying attention, but the Colts have looked like a mess in training camp in
Mhm.
the first couple of days, throwing stuff in the dirt. But we have, outside of Bryce Young and a few other situations here, we've been fairly sharp, especially on defense. Do you believe this could be a year where one side is stronger than the other?
Well, I think so. That'll definitely be the offense, and the word "strong" is definitely relative, uh, right? How strong? I don't know how strong the offense is going to be. I know we'll be able to run the ball, but again, the defense. We struggled against the run last year. I think we mildly addressed that. I don't think there's enough. There has been enough addressed for this to be an elite run defense. Granted, with Derek Brown coming back, you have to improve a lot. But Derek Brown, we also struggled against the run with Derek Brown the first year, although he made a huge difference and broke the tackle record, right? So I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that. This defense is really missing a lot of veteran leadership as well as just some really Pro Bowl caliber or elite talent on the defense. We just lack all of that. And I just really can't see this defense necessarily excelling. Maybe some of the young guys come in and surprise. If Nick Scorton gets a lot of opportunities, I would consider a really good season for him is maybe 6 sacks. I mean, I'd be pleasantly surprised if he was able to amass something like that.
You have bigger expectations than me because I'll say four is a good season for him.
Yeah.
Let's finish off with this training camp day two takeaway here. Jimmy Horn Jr., who's a guy who's known for his speed here, made a great sideline catch when it comes to his versatility.
Mhm.
Canales said that he loves the approach that Jimmy has to football. It's all gas. I actually caught that press conference.
Mhm.
He also mentioned how some guys who are extremely fast and extremely talented, all they know how to play is with all gas. He even compared him to Devin Tompkins as far as work ethic and how he just doesn't want to tone it down. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta, as a receiver, you gotta know how to sit in windows and know how to timing, right? It's not always just about speed, speed, speed. So big up to Jimmy Horn here, man. I mean, I think he'll pay dividends in the punt return and kickoff return game. Do you see him much more as a receiver, or how do you think they'll use him, like gadget plays? I mean, what do you think?
I'm definitely gadget plays. This receiving core is there's a lot of bodies. I'll say that. So there's going to be a lot of competition, especially on a run team. I don't know if the Panthers might end up keeping five receivers. I mean, the difference between keeping five, six, seven receivers is huge. So if we end up keeping five receivers, maybe it's really Horn and David Moore that are really competing against each other. But I think just from what I'm hearing and the potential, he's going to definitely make the roster, but it's going to probably leave one of the receivers out.
And who you think that be? You said that more
I think it'll be more. And maybe our gentleman from Holy Cross, what's his name?
Croker.
Um, Croker. I doubt it, but that could also be an option as well.
Mm. Well, I definitely think there's a lot to do when it comes to decision making when it's Carolina Panther. But day two is wrapped up in the books here, man. And I'll say if you haven't been paying attention, the biggest takeaway for me is this defense, right?
Mhm.
They're flying around. They look good. Again, so I want to say this. I got to overly say this when I repeat myself.
Mhm.
It's day two, okay? But
Well,
if I gotta praise them, they're doing good on defense. They're flying
if,
around.
if if I may, I'll jump on your side a little bit because at this stage of training camp, the offense should be the one dominating. You're
That's right.
talking,
That's right.
yeah, you're talking no pads. You can't really hit anybody. So you're not going to really plant. You're not going to attack or drive towards the ball as hard because you're worried about the collision. So this is generally where the offense shines, and the fact that that's not happening is sort of it's a moment for pause. I'm not raising my eyebrow, but it's a moment to pause to say, okay, what's really going on here? Is the offense really that sloppy, or do we have something here on defense?
Well, E, if you remember, I know you were around last year.
Hmm.
Remember training camp and preseason how much sloppy it was last year?
I do.
And people were like, "Well, it's just preseason, it's training camp. It don't matter. It don't matter." And then the regular season, I think the first play of the game, he threw an interception against the Saints.
Yep.
So, man, I'm concerned about Bryce, but I'm over it, right?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't want to sit here. I don't want to bash the guy, right? Because I mean, you guys are gonna see what I've been saying to you when he goes out there and play, right? So, but at this point, I mean, it's just a moot point. I just want you guys to understand that this is troubling waters, like E said, for you to be out there with no pads on and to be struggling against guys such as the caliber of Pat Jones and the Damian kid and even Akeem Aquanu, a guy who's been here what 2 or 3 years now, I think 3 years,
Yeah,
and
three.
you're getting beat by rookies. You know what I mean? You're not going out here week one against Jacksonville. You're not facing, no disrespect, you're not facing, what's that linebacker's name? Let's see. You're not going out here facing, let's see.
There's a lot of good ones. You got.
No, the one that had the interception today.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The new guy that they're
I don't
praising.
even, I don't even remember.
Yeah,
Pat
the
Jones.
coach
Yeah.
was praising you. Some I forgot his name. Yeah,
Yeah. Pat Jones. Pat Jones.
yeah.
You're not going out there facing them caliber guys. You're going out here to face legit players, man.
Hmm.
And I'm disappointed in Bryce because, you know, you would think 2 days in, my brother, you take 2 days in, you at least have some kind of like, I don't know, man. I can't take your side no more, y'all. And I don't want to bash it because I don't want to lose subscribers. I don't want to do that either. But I'll just say, look, you'll see when the time comes. Okay.
This year is really going to be a make or break. I know sometimes as people put on their fan hat and they want to defend players, but at the 3 year mark, it's really time to start showing something, right? It can no longer be the receiver's fault. It can no longer be the offensive line fault. He's shown. I mean, the sparks did come a couple times last year, but it's really we're about a year and a half away from having to pay this gentleman a large contract. So he needs to perform. Whether we can win or not, maybe the defense doesn't really have what it takes for us to win games. But for the most part on offense, he needs to execute and by efficiency. I mean, if we're running the ball, that's one thing. I'm not just talking raw numbers, but the efficiency needs to be there.
I definitely agree here. E, let me ask you a question here. When it comes to the defensive tackle spot, you mentioned Bobby Brown, and I believe he's out with a hamstring issue. Christian Wilkerson, he just got released from the Raiders. Looks like he was coming off an injury, and they voided out his entire contract because they didn't agree with the way he went about the rehab. So I don't know if he didn't follow team procedures or whatever, but it voided his entire contract that led to his release. If possible, I'm not saying that he will. I'm pretty sure he has a bunch of other teams. If possible, he was considering coming here. Would you bring him here?
Yeah, I mean, that's some guy that I've looked at in the past. I think he's like 6'4", 320 or something like that.
Yeah.
I've been screaming for the past 2 years. If you're running if you're running a 3-4, the nose tackle position is literally the heart of the 3-4 defense. It all starts there, right? And for some reason, we have negated that position for a very long time, despite running this defense. Right? We've had Shy Tuttle that's 6 feet tall, 200 and 300 pounds even, trying to play a traditional nose tackle. That's just not going to work in a 3-4 with three down linemen. So it's if we're really high on this defense, we think we want to do something this season. You have to address the nose tackle position. And to be honest with you, I mean, I really like the Bobby Brown pickup, but we definitely need another guy in there, anyways. Now, I don't know what type of price tag he comes with. I'll say that I know his. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was doing more than 10 plus million a year. So that's something to look at too, right?
Yeah.
Do you go add a bunch of salary cap to your team, when you're really not in win now mode? Do you want some of that salary cap to fall off, not fall off, but to roll over into the next year? So you also have to be mindful of those things, like why are we adding these high price players?
That's true. That's a very good point there, man. You don't want to mess yourself up from years to come when it comes to continue building this team here. Let's move on to the next segment of our show. We're going to open the floor up to the fans. The link is in the chat. If you guys want to come up and give us your take on day 2 of Panthers training camp here, what you like, what you didn't like, what you're concerned about, what you're not concerned about. All right.
What's going on, fellas?
Hey,
Hey,
Kendall, how
Kendall,
you,
how you
sir?
doing?
What's up? What's up? Hey, I just tapped in. Christian Wilkerson,
Yes.
right? Clemson,
Yep.
big time.
That's right.
He's a big time player, man. 29 years old. He just got his big contract when he went over there. He was at the Dolphins, and then he got his big contract when he went to the Raiders. But Big Cat,
Yes, sir.
Elaine, bringing him in. I don't know, man. That's somebody to go after. Cause putting him beside Derek Brown, push the pocket. Now that's a big time player. That's
That's
a
right.
big time player, man. But I don't think they have the resources to go get him far as cap wise. Cause he signed a big contract with the Raiders. I mean, how does that work? Do they void the contract or
Yeah,
do they
what
just
happens is the he can sign any contract he wants from them, because what happens, the guaranteed money the old team has to still pay.
Raiders gonna eat it like Russell. Like
Yeah,
Russell Wilson.
I think it's spread out over the 2 years. So like
Uh-huh.
if they owe them $20 million, it'll be a 10 million cap hit this year, 10 million next year.
So we could
So
pay
then
him a league minimum.
Yeah.
but like if you're that type level of player, you're not gonna probably sign for the league minimum. You're gonna go collect somewhere else too, right?
Yeah, they voided his entire contract. $35 million. They voided the remaining of his
Uh-huh.
salary because of, they said, the improper rehab on his injury. He didn't. I don't know
Yeah.
what he did, but he didn't do it properly.
Okay. Well, I seen a little bit of that. I didn't read up on or whatever, but I
Yeah.
didn't know how that would probably factor into the contract. But as I kept thinking of it, yeah, if they voided the contract, they got to eat that.
Yep,
Yes.
that's correct.
They released them.
They
Okay.
they they eat
Okay.
they eat the guaranteed money.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
Thoughts on
I've
day 2
been
of
there.
training camp, Kendall?
Not really, man. I really tell you, I hate to say this as a content creator myself, but I could give a damn. I really could at this point because they didn't do a lot of things that I wanted them to do.
Oh, Jesus.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They didn't do a lot of things that I wanted them to do. Now you're sitting up here, Josie Jewell, and it's gonna be a big deal.
Yeah.
You got Rosenboom, who played last year because of injury, a rotational linebacker who's going to be our Mike linebacker with a green dot calling play. I'm setting up a defense that basically he just got into the last month and some change. So, yeah, oh man, it is what it is. I already see how this is going to line up.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, man, I can't call you a lie there, man. I mean, it's giving makeshift, and it's more like a growth and development year for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm not necessarily.
How many of them you going to have, though, BK? How
Well,
many of them do you have?
well, you're right, but listen though. This is the first year where I can say they actually went out here and got pieces that, if done right, down the line they're going to be good. Like, you can't tell me like Mingo and who's that dude? Keith Taylor. Those guys, you can't growth and develop them. I think we actually got some players this year. If you do it right, the Scortons of the world, you got the Prince Umanleys of the world, you know what I mean? Hell, even Trevion Wallace, who's his second year. if you do it right, man, I think in the future, the near future, probably 3 years down the line, these guys are all going to be veterans and they're going to be really good. You got somebody that actually matters, right?
Dave.
For once,
Yeah,
you ain't got to keep just rotating in.
but
Oh, we need a new edge rusher tomorrow or next year.
go through the timeline with me though. Go
Yes,
through the
sir.
timeline with me.
I was
Okay.
gonna literally
Okay,
just do that. Dave
you
Canales
just
probably
said.
has two. He probably has 2 years left
Thank you, Elaine. Thank you.
of this
Thank you.
5-win nonsense, and then we're gonna be blowing this up again. New coach, new
Mm.
quarterback, and then they're gonna be rethinking this whole roster again.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
yeah,
Mm.
we are
Thank you.
way behind in development, and even if everything you said about Nick Scorton is true, he
Yes.
doesn't have two. He doesn't have 2 or 3 years to develop and become good on this team. He just doesn't. This team needs to win now, and they're not set up to win now in the next 2 years.
There you go.
Well, if you're relying on an edge rusher to win, why the hell did we get rid of Brian Burns?
Well, I think Brian Burns, not only was he disgruntled, but you had it's a very interesting position to be with Brian Burns because you have an above average uh, defensive end, and quarterback and pass rushers are the two positions that are overpaid in the NFL. So if you have an above average quarterback, but not necessarily elite or above average pass rusher, you're gonna have to overpay them. You're gonna come to
No,
a
I think
really hard decision.
you missed what I was saying. My point was is if you're relying on Nick Scorton to carry us to wins, then you're setting yourself up for failure. But that doesn't mean that you can't have him develop into being a cornerstone of this defense, right? Nobody says, "Hey, I'm building a team around a defense that's going to score 20 points a game," right? But
Well, perhaps.
you do need pieces that are going to be cornerstones. That's what I'm saying. The
Oh,
cornerstones don't happen overnight.
yeah, perhaps, yeah. And let me maybe explain. If you're going to win games, you're going to have to get consistent pressure on the quarterback, and this team is really bad in that department. We just talked about we're in the 3-4, right? So you're not going to get it from any of these ends, right? They're stout players. They hold up at the point of attack like 3-4 defensive ends are
Mm.
supposed to. Maybe Derek Brown is a little more disruptive than your average 3-4 defensive end, but you're relying on these young guys to get that pressure. And you're not going to win, 7+ games if you're not getting pressure. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean. In pass rusher is one of those positions that it takes time in the NFL for these guys to develop. So we have really young guys that we're depending on. And if they're going to do anything that you think they're going to do or be decent contributors, it's going to take at least 2 or 3 years. That's the point I'm making. And we're going to run out of time. We have nothing but young talent on the team and not enough time for Coach Canales.
Well, touche. I mean,
Because
we
if you look at it, so like I said, break down the timeline even more.
yeah,
You just said Nick Scorton, Prince Umanmielen,
yeah.
everything that we got in this draft, 2 to 3 years to manifest.
Okay.
Now you go on the offense side of the ball, which you allocated all these funds,
Oh no. I'm
all.
just talking about defense right now. I didn't say nothing about offense. We're gonna talk about defense right
Well,
now.
Big Cat, you got to play complimentary ball.
You're going
Well,
to
The
play,
offense, the 3 phases.
and,
You see
and
what I'm
if I
saying?
and I'll say
You're
this:
gonna
if you're going to play a bunch of rookies on defense, it's going to be ugly the first year.
yes,
It's going to be
absolutely.
ugly the first 8
My
games.
point.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my point.
They're going to make mistakes. They're going to be
Yep.
out of place, and then you're playing a bunch of them together, right?
Okay. So when they start to manifest going into year 2, well, I mean coming out of year 2,
Year
going
three.
into year 3,
Yes.
right? Now you got to go on the offensive side of the ball and start signing. Robert Hunt's getting ready to come out of that 4-year contract. The other guard, Damian Lewis, is coming out of that 3 to 4 year contract. You got to figure out what you're going to do with Taylor Moton. You're going to figure out what you're going to do with Ike Ekwonu. You got to figure out what you're going to do with Austin Corbett or the 2 guys that's behind him. You see what I'm saying?
And
Then you
Kendall,
got to figure out what you got to do with the
if I may,
quarterback.
over there at left tackle, right? Let's say in 2 years you're making these decisions, but those 2 years from now you've won less than 6 games each of those 2 years or 7 games.
You.
Now you're thinking about, well, do I even want to keep these players? So even the stuff you started to build on offense, you're not winning. You're questioning whether you want to keep those pieces, right? And so I really think this team has a good little ways to go, Big Cat. And all these young we have overinvested in the offense the past 3 years. We have overinvested in the offense, right? So spending 3 second round picks on wide receivers and a first round pick
and running back
and running backs, right? Spending a second round pick on running backs, paying receivers, right? Using all these draft picks to really quote unquote build around Bryce. We're paying the price for that. Now we're sitting here talking about how a bunch of rookies and undrafted guys are going to get some pressure on the quarterback. If that was so common, teams wouldn't be paying these pass rushers $100 million. You get what I'm saying? So I think we're just in trouble. We're seeing the effects of really overinvesting in the offense the past couple of years.
Never drafting a linebacker. We hadn't drafted a linebacker in
Yep.
4 years.
We have the weakest linebacking core in Panthers history. Finally getting something that even remotely looks like a 3-4 nose tackle. Bobby Brown, though he's hurt, but Bobby Brown's going to be, as a 3-4 nose tackle, he's going to be serviceable, right? But it's not elite or anything like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's we overinvested in the offense and we got minimum return on our investment. If you spend $150 million on the offensive line and you got a top 10 offensive line and you got your quarterback, like the eighth most time in the league behind the eighth most time in the league in the pocket, and only thing
and
we can
still
do,
leaving clean pocket.
right? And we can only manage, what do we win, 5-6 games, right? Every investment we put so much investment into the offense and the returns have been minimal. So now the defense is completely script. It's completely void of talent, right? Proven talent is what I want to say. And now we're depending on these rookies to basically complement this underperforming offense that has all the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And picture this. Let me paint this one last picture right here.
Mm-hmm.
Before anybody else come on. You got closed practices, right? So all the news that we're seeing is coming from the Panthers. So it's diluted. You understand what I'm saying? And they still had to tell you that this joker had what, 2-3 picks today and got sacked.
Shout out to Joe Persons.
Stepping away for a second.
They want to release that. And then how did he get sacked? It was pretty much he rolled out a clean pocket and ran into the block.
Yeah. I think the explanation for it while Prince Umanmielen sacked him was even worse. I think they should have just left it the way it was. The fact that you said he rolled out the pocket and he fell into the nigga, that really just I don't know, Kendall, man.
He does, big
I don't know.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. My man,
that's why I said earlier, I'm over it.
Yeah. I looked at the Colts camp today. I seen a little bit of their quarterback issue with Daniel Jones and Richardson, and it was sloppy joes all day. So maybe this is just a common thing. I don't want to get too overly anxiety here, man. Maybe it's just a common thing, people shaking off rust because, or maybe we're just really that bad. I don't know, man. But a lot of stock has been put into Bryce's last couple of games he had. And for, like I said, like Elaine said, coming out here in shirts and helmet, you should be dominating this defense, right?
Correct.
Who's putting stock? Who is the ones that's out there putting stock into his last?
The Bryce, we got Bryce
supporters.
fans.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Because all I seen was a no Atlanta defense, a Cardinals team that took us for granted when they came in.
They like to top the Chiefs game, one touchdown.
That said they wasn't going to lose to us. Yeah. A Cowboys team that said they wasn't going to lose to us and prepare for us. They said we were a dangerous 4-win team, 5-win team, and they actually prepared for us. And what did they do?
Yeah.
Wiped us. Okay.
Yeah. That's right. That's right here.
Yeah, I think with Bryce, if we're just going to be honest, there's a lot of moral victories more so than actual tangible skill set. It's tangible things of him dominating, right? The Atlanta game was a really amazing game, a good feel-good story. And what that really tells me, Big Cat, is that just like last year with the year prior, Bryce will explode. I mean, he'll do something really amazing for 1 or 2 games, but can he be consistent? You get what I'm saying?
Nope.
Yeah.
That's what's important. Not can he have an amazing game once or twice a year, right? Marcus Mariota's done stuff like that, right? I swear he had like 5 touchdowns in the game before too, if I'm not mistaken. Or he like threw for 4 or 5 of them or something crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, these things happen, but can you be consistent, right? If you left on a high, when you come out here against this depleted defense that has been abandoned because they've done everything on offense to help you, can you dominate this defense? You should be dominating. These are rookies. You're in your second year. You're a cerebral quarterback, right?
Yeah.
And so you have nothing but these young guys out there. You should be running circles around them.
That's true. And no disrespect to Pat Jones and who's the who's the other free safety? Christian
The guy from
Damian.
the rookie from
Yeah.
Utah, Iowa, somewhere like that.
Yeah, man. No disrespect to those guys, but Bryce should be out here mind messing with them. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Messing with their
yeah,
minds out there, you know?
Yeah,
yeah.
mini Peyton Manning is what
In
I would say.
shorts and a helmet,
Right.
mind you.
Yeah.
Right.
A glorified game of catch.
Yep, that's true.
Fellas, what's good?
What's
Yo,
going
who's
on?
What up now?
That Slime?
Nah, it's Wink.
Oh, what's up? Wink, what good?
Man,
What's
chilling,
up?
chilling. What's good? What's good, Kendall?
Cool,
I
man.
can't call it that, Wink.
Man, y'all boys ain't one day. Y'all good?
They had a piss poor day at camp.
Oh, yeah.
Man, oh yeah, I heard about Bryce throwing a pick. But at the end of the day, that's the that happened. Like, who didn't throw a pick today? CJ threw a pick today. That ain't nothing to worry about. I mean, you
I'm not
got a
worried
good
about
defense.
CJ
Yeah.
Wink. Wink, I'm
Yeah.
not worried about CJ Wink.
That's right.
I'm not
Yeah.
worried about CJ
That's
Wink.
right.
It's a bunch of niggas all across the league who can through picks. That ain't no that. That's a good thing. You be like, okay, the defense kind of locking in and shit like that. Now, I'm not saying it's the hardest thing to do, but hey, you should be looking up. You be like,
Well,
hey,
this is a little bit more than an interception. This is him struggling in general,
Right.
and then we don't have the talent on defense that you have. This defense is
yeah,
people are more excited about when you talk to Big Cat. We're excited about a second-round pick defensive end, right? We're excited about an undrafted guy who's been getting some pressure, right? So there isn't any proven talent on this team.
was it Princely or was it Prince?
Princely.
Or,
Princely.
was Princely?
Princely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you're hearing Bryce kind of struggling in general,
Yeah.
2 days in a row, and it's like, you know what I mean? The offense, all the money is on the offense.
That's right.
Yeah, like all the talent is on the offensive side of the ball, right? Like,
What, you don't think y'all did enough on the defense?
we
The
we
corner wise,
I know
I
we
don't
did.
agree.
yeah
Yeah, I
we
I know
definitely.
we did.
we
Yeah,
should
yeah. Corner, I don't agree, but I think in the front seven, I think y'all added some
we
pretty
didn't add
decent
any we
people.
didn't add any elite talent. We
Okay.
added some things to shore up some things to not make us one of the
Yeah.
worst.
Yeah.
We had one of the worst defenses in NFL history last year, did we not?
That's true. 32nd. Yep.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean we added some average pieces to like maybe some duct tape over the leaking faucet. But there's no elite talent here. There's no
So defensively, you don't feel good at all.
no. So defensively, I feel like we probably won't be the worst run stopping defense, but we're gonna struggle to stop the run as we did when Derek Brown was heavy.
Wink, I'm gonna tell you what's getting ready to go down probably by week 5 historically, because that's when Matt Rule got fired, and that's when all this the ship
He can't do
on
that, Kendall.
we getting ready. No, he ain't gonna get fired. Dave, Dan, none of them guys are gonna get fired, but the train will go off the tracks, and Evero is the sacrificial lamb. Let me put it to y'all like that. That's how this thing is going to play. They're going to blame it on the defense.
That's a fact.
Bryce Young does not have the DNA or the gene that makes that other click. You know what I'm saying? That click sound.
Right.
He don't have that. He don't have that gene.
Kendall just hit on something. Every time before you see a coach fire, the coach generally gets one sacrifice. The owner's going to come to you and say, "What's going on?" And they're going to say, "It's the offensive coordinator."
You talking about during the season?
during the season.
During the season, sometimes it's the off season, right? So Matt Rule got Joe Brady. He says, "Oh, Joe Brady, right? He's the problem, right?" It happens every single year. Generally, when you see a coordinator getting fired, it's because the coach is on his last leg. Sometimes it happens during the season. Sometimes it happens in the after the season.
And right here will be is Giro Evero.
Correct.
That's they're gonna say he's not being aggressive enough. He's holding back, or he's not doing this or doing that between week 5 and week 8.
Let me ask you a question. I know E, you live in Charlotte, right?
I do.
Now, I don't want to insinuate anything here, but the fact that they're having closed practices, I know they're building a new facility. Have you happened to ride by there to see where the construction is being done?
I have. I'm in the area quite often.
Can you give me a description of how it looks like, and as far as if you wanted to accommodate fans?
I don't see why fans can't be out there. I'll be honest with you, man. I really don't have an answer to that because I feel like you could accommodate fans. Maybe there's some liability because there's constructions going on that having people out there becomes some type of liability. That's the only thing I could think of.
Okay, and I'm glad you brought that up. How big was the construction? Is it like a smaller area, or is it like a whole massive roadside, or what?
I'll be honest. I can see the construction from the roadside, but I don't go to the opposite side to see kind of how massive or how much of it is kind of under construction.
Gotcha. So my point that I'm trying to get at here, I really think this team still knows and believes that Bryce Young is still struggling, right?
Correct.
And there's no reason why they couldn't do it in Clemson, you know what I mean, or to have it down here in have it in Charlotte, have it in Bank of America Stadium, you know what I mean, where the fans could come and attend and watch it that way too. I think they know they don't want that press coverage. They know podcasters and people, social media and news reporters.
Yeah.
I mean, the news reporters are already leaking what they see. Imagine what else they're not telling us,
Right.
Right.
I mean, but
I said that same thing today, Big Cat. I said the same thing.
You did.
They could have had
Oh, no, go ahead.
The practice is open. The whole Charlotte is a construction zone.
Correct.
Charlotte itself is a construction zone.
Correct.
All the way through. I think they're trying to mask this dude for the media. He only does certain media things. He's been since last year. He's being protected, for questions they ask and all kinds of stuff like that. And people keep asking David Newton, just like y'all just said. Dave is the only one that's asking these hard questions. Like nobody ever told us why after the benching, why did you bring him back other than Andy got in a car accident? Or why didn't Andy get the job back?
He's very lucky. He's very lucky he came to Carolina. I mean, if he went to New York or something like that, the media would have ate his ass up, man.
If he was in Chicago, bro, like,
man.
Because we got rid of, I mean, it just depends on your organization. It just depends on how your GM runs shit, bro. Because the good GMs don't play that. Like, we understood when we got Davis Mills in 2021, he was a stopgap to be able to get us in a situation because we could see ahead of time. You take a risk by doing that because it's a lot of risk involved. Because if you mortgage shit might not work out. You don't know, so not you got to have a sense of luck on your side. And then you have to, really just trust your evaluation process, bro. Like, keep motherfuckers up out of your business because media really game up.
Correct.
Like they really do. That shit get frustrating. And a lot of these dudes really don't even know what the fuck they be looking at. So it's like they give shit to the fans and the fans start panicking. And you be like, oh my God, like, bro, like, and maybe this ain't even nearly as bad as motherfuckers, but people don't even know what the fuck they looking at.
Exactly.
Let me ask you this here. Again, when it comes to Bryce, we know this is a heavy season for him as far as production-wise, and ultimately he'll be judged by the wins and losses. What are we looking like if a potential benching were to happen? We'll just got to lose 3 in a row? Is it by a certain week? As I'm looking at the schedule here, we got Jacksonville on the road, Arizona on the road. We got the Falcons at home, got the Patriots at home. Those are the first 4 games. I feel like if he can walk away with at least 2 of those wins, he's safe. But then I really think if a benching or something of that nature is going to come. It's going to come weeks 5 through 8, where we play the Dolphins at home, the Cowboys at home, we play the Jets on the road, and we got the Buffalo Bills at home. If he loses like 3 out of those games, I definitely see him sit him down. Any thoughts on that? Or
If you set Bryce down, you're tanking the season. And I don't know. It would be Dave Canales' this is his second year, right?
Yeah.
I think, yeah, because I think if as long as Dave Canales' benchmark is really to win more games than he did last year, right? And he could probably keep his job. I could really see him benching Bryce if things don't go well, just to try to shake things up, to make something happen. Yeah, I think it's a real possibility, Big Cat. I'm with you 100%.
so I'm asking you like what does that look like? Does he have to lose 3 straight? Does he have to have a negative record by a certain date? I mean, like,
I think if it happens, it's gonna happen early, not later.
okay,
If we hammer off 2 in a row, and I'll say this, because it's gonna be context what it looks like. He didn't get benched last year because we lost 2 games. He got benched for the manner in which we lost. Right? If you're just unable to move the ball with Bryce, and he's not making certain throws, he's not executing just basic stuff again, he's going to get benched early. I don't even think it's really a win or loss thing. It's really just about how Bryce is executing.
Yeah. I had to, and I got to agree with you, Elaine. Dave Canales said at the Super Bowl, and then you probably can't find this clip nowhere, or we have to search to find it. He said basically, Bryce Young could not run or execute the play that he sent out.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever position we was in, third or whatever, second or whatever, first or whatever Dave had in his mind to run, he didn't feel as though Bryce Young could properly execute it at that time, wherever we was on the field or whatever, to where what he bring out of his mouth could become a proper play call.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if he gets to that situation again, and this guy has to bench him because he's saying, I sent this in, and here it is, damn, we 3 and out.
Sure.
Goodness gracious, man, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? You're not seeing the field. The man was open right here. You should have handed that off instead. You shouldn't have rolled out of that clean pocket.
Right.
Yeah, they're going to try to take it.
Yeah. Now he's sitting there, my job on the line.
Correct.
Y'all got to say once again, elephant in the room.
Correct.
This is not Tepper's guy. You got to factor that wild card in there.
Yeah.
Dave Canales is not Tepper's guy.
That's correct.
He was brought in by the GM.
Yeah, this isn't like Madden where your player gets better and then, their attributes go up, so they're better the next year.
Yeah.
Teams adjust. So whatever, last year, Bryce Young's improvement was a little bit of him getting better, but also a little bit of scheme, right? And finding things that he does well. Teams are going to sit down and look at that. They pay defensive coordinators millions of dollars.
As they should.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Defensive coordinators get paid millions of dollars. So they're going to throw different things at Bryce. And he's going to be forced to adjust, and we're going to see that early, right? We're going to see Bryce get new things thrown at him, man, and how is he going to adjust, right? Maybe that's happening right now in training camp, and why he struggled 2 days in a row.
And you know what adjustment's going to be?
What's that?
Take them 2 guys, them 2 running backs, and try to run the ball more.
Yeah, they're gonna run the ball. They're gonna do the same thing that Jim Harbaugh did for Justin Herbert this past season. They're gonna run the ball as they're supposed to. Help your quarterback out when he having issues. Run the ball. That's what you're supposed to do.
The only thing with that is to have a heavy run team and to be able to win or be efficient with that. Your quarterback's efficiency has to be really good, because when you need him to throw is usually in a situation where you probably really need him to be efficient. He can't be 60% completion Bryce and you're trying to run the ball.
That's right.
You get what I'm saying? He just can't be.
That's right.
Yeah, there's gonna probably be 3 to 5 plays a game that you really need him to come through on.
Oh my!
And you better have a defense.
Correct.
Because if you ever get down, you ain't got the offense, you can't open up and spread the field and make up those 2 touchdowns, and the defense can't hold. you in trouble. You're not winning
Yeah,
that game.
no, I get it. That's from a winning perspective, and I don't think we're going to win a lot. I'm just more concerned about Bryce moving the ball. If we won 4 games next year, and they do something like, what's your boy who likes to get all the massages and shit, and the Texans?
Oh,
Yeah, who
What he
just
say?
Deshaun
he
Watson.
yeah. I mean, he led
Oh,
the league in passing, and this team won 4 wins, right? You get
right,
what I'm
right,
saying?
right, right,
Like,
right, right. Yeah,
we
he
could
wasn't
do
a problem. Yeah, he
right,
wasn't a
right, right.
problem. Yeah, yeah.
We could if Bryce did something like that, I'm not concerned about the wins, right? Like, okay, we got something here, right? We got something to build on. Bryce, everybody keeps talking about the wins, the losses. Last year, they're blaming the defense for his underperformance, man. I don't care about the defense. I care that we have a quarterback that's good enough to build around and win. And Bryce just has not proven that for me. He's proven that once or twice a year he can have really, really good games.